total is a mustard seed. Then nurture it, water it, grow it into that tree in your rainforest. We will be highlighting one of the prevalent social issues in our society. That we love and trust, and by people that are strangers. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from the heart of the motherland, we bring you our reality with Skye. You know my name, Skye, and I'll let him reintroduce himself. The Don, the Mr. Indelible, Pharmacist P.
Hello, Skye. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am really surprised I got invited again. I'm so excited to be here. It's an absolute pleasure. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Promise. I'm a pharmacist, and in my spare time, I go by Mr. Indelible.
Yes. They're not allowed to call you that. I call you that.
Oh, no.
But they can share.
Yes.
They can share.
Sharing is good. Sharing
Yeah.
is good. Yes.
Okay, so the last time he was here, we talked about women. Are they the problem? Are they the solution? Is understanding them the problem? That's why he's here.
Okay. So last time, if I remember correctly, we talked about how men and women being in a companionship doesn't necessarily mean a master and slave relationship.
That's
I
what
think
you
I
said.
remember that correctly.
Yes.
And then you tried to catch me out by saying that men were just bored, and so women are in a way just
That's what you
alleviating
said.
boredom.
You
And
said
then that
women were-
forced me
Yes.
to retrace everything I said
Yes.
for a very good reason.
Yes.
And I made it clear that man was lonely from the start of
Not
creation.
bored like he said in the beginning. Yes.
So man was lonely, and then he got a companion.
Right.
And then this companion, obviously,
Right.
had to be his equal.
Yes.
Because one of the reasons why it was not good to have the dogs and the sheep and the cattle and all the
Right.
animals just be with him
Yeah.
was because they were not good enough for him.
Great. And that brought us to a marriage relationship. So what's your take on marriage?
Surprisingly, I think marriage is flawed.
Oh my God. Now, I find this crazy because it came from you and you said that women were special. Tell
They
us.
are.
Yes.
Women are special. Women are amazing.
Right.
They are the symbol of empathy in the world. And I put that very lightly. Because let's be honest, from nurses to even female doctors, musicians, wherever you find a woman really in any profession, so it's not even tied to a profession like you find
Right.
in the male gender, sorry.
So why don't you do marriage? Why don't you think it is?
Because it's flawed in my opinion. It's not
Why is
wrong
that?
to me.
Right.
It's beautiful by design.
All right.
I love it when people come together like that. I have the utmost respect for marriages. But to me, there are some little flaws in there that just make it not feasible to me. So to me, it's there, it works, people are doing it, there are
What are these
challenges,
flaws? Yeah.
but then a red flag is a red flag.
Okay.
And once you have a red flag in a situation, you have to give yourself a choice in it.
All right.
You don't force yourself into a red flag. So for instance, and bear with me, I'm not speaking based on any particular gender. I mean just the concept of a union like that on its own.
Right, got you.
So why do men find women interesting? It's not just because of how she looks. It's not just because of how she makes a home or how she takes care of you or how much you like her. It's beyond that, but most men would never admit this.
Okay.
You know, they are our intellectual equals. Some would argue they surpass us. Few would still argue it's less than us, though I don't think anyone is lower than anyone. But it is possible for people to become more intelligent over time.
Okay.
But When it comes to women, the
Okay.
reason why I say so is because anything you give a woman first off, she multiplies back to you.
Great.
That started off as a theory or opinion for most people. They're like, if you give a woman stress, she'll give you more stress. If you give her groceries, she gives you a meal. I think that's a nice way to see women, but I don't think that encompasses the whole picture.
Okay. So
That
tell us.
that really simplifies it.
Okay.
A man will complain that a woman gives him stress. He's like, this woman is troubling me. He's always thinking, he's moving around, he's looking for ways to take care of the family. He doesn't want it to even get to that point where she has to be concerned that she has to tell him about those things.
Right.
And then some men say that's a stress, but I would argue that we find that interesting. It brings an element of excitement into our lives. Like this, like you said on our, last time I was here, I remember you said it's like a push and pull
Right.
effect. You see that?
So what makes it so wrong? You.
That very effect, because there are extremes of it that people go to.
Right.
So that has always been the basis. She might say something you don't get along with. You might say
Okay.
something she doesn't get along
But
with.
isn't that what relationships are about? Even
Yes.
best friends, family,
Yes, it is.
whatever, brother, sister, siblings.
Mm,
Why is it such a problem in a marriage relationship?
I think it's personally to do with how I see a partner.
Okay.
So if I was to have a partner that I
Right.
wanted to love for the rest of my life
Right.
and share everything with, I'm sorry to say, but I would love that person more than anyone else in my life.
Isn't that what marriage should be?
And that is the problem.
Okay.
Because with great love comes great jealousy, comes great
Yes.
envy.
Right.
It comes with
Control.
what some might describe, and I think we did mention this last time, as intuition for women mostly, and insecurity for men.
Okay. Okay.
So you see, it brings out all those traits that a man wouldn't normally have.
Have.
And I'm
Right.
not saying that
Oh.
it's bad to deal with them. We
Okay.
actually like that. We're men. We take on challenges. We conquer them. That's how we keep growing stronger.
Okay.
Also, we've been told. But at what point does it become too much? We are often pushing our limits. You hear
Right.
of marriages falling apart.
Okay.
If it was perfect, if it was functional, if everything you went through in it could be dealt with,
Right.
there wouldn't be all these awful stories of failed marriages that don't just put the partners through a lot, but then put the children, put the families through a lot.
Don't you think that certain people are getting it wrong? Because
Yes.
I agree with you. When people say, with love comes jealousy. If you love something so much, you covet it, you want it. It's a very fine line between control and possessiveness and letting it go, that sort of thing. I see where you're coming from. Now, isn't that what marriage is? Working, striving every day to make sure that you're loving that person enough, but not too much. You're loving that person, in the way that they want to be loved and not losing yourself. That's what I mean when I say the push pull. I feel like if few people get it right, I don't want to godify this, but if you have God there, he helps you understand your partner better. And my thing is, a lot of people have the marriage relationship wrong
True.
because the woman seems to be the submissive and the guy the head, and he controls everything. And where you see the woman or the man loving his wife enough, they say she has given him something to eat, and they
Ah,
say that she's domineering and she's
true.
controlling. But if I notice that if the guy doesn't pay attention to whatever these people are saying and loving his wife, who is maybe a take charge woman, it works. And then if the woman remembers that, you know what, this is a man, and believe it or not, men are big on respect and their egos are very fragile. And she says, normally I would say, baby, give me that. Instead of sending him on errands, I'll do it myself. And fewer times than I want to, I would now say, oh, help me do this, that, and the third. And that's what makes marriages beautiful. And until society gets there, we're still working at it. Don't you think that's what it is? That people have gotten it wrong.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you an example that my auntie gave me.
Okay,
This
great.
was last year. We were having this same subject
Okay.
on the discussion,
All right.
and then she said, try not to listen to what people say about marriages because what they're telling you is what they're going through.
Right.
you know.
Right.
And then she holds up a hand of sorts, and then she says, like, we have 5 different fingerprints on one hand. And in all of human history, these 5 fingerprints have never existed and will never exist after yours. That's how unique we are as creatures. She's like, so
Nice.
if on a cellular level we're that unique, what makes
Right.
you think that on an empathic level, being social creatures, what
Right.
makes you think that your experience with a companion must mirror anything that's ever even
Nice.
existed
That's it.
before?
That's it.
And so that really got me thinking, actually, because
Yeah.
like there's some men who would wash their wife's underwear,
Yes.
but then the same men would brag to their friends how men who do that. Oh my God,
Yes.
and then they hide that.
Yes.
But then they have that idea of it's like having a dirty little secret.
Right.
You know,
Right.
if I ever was to get married, I'll put this one out there. I know it might surprise you.
Okay.
But if I ever was to get married,
Right.
I would want my partner to be my dirty little secret. Do you know what I mean by that?
No.
I want you to be the reason why I'm so happy. People can't explain it.
Yes.
But then no one can get to it.
Yes.
So no one ruins that
Right.
happiness.
Right.
It's like
Yes.
some women might be offended by that. They might say, okay,
Yes.
so then she's an ornament, she's a trophy. She just sits.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
You can live your life.
Oh
You
my
can have it
God.
all. But then
Yes.
I really just want you to be the center of my world.
Yes.
But
Oh,
then
I love that.
the reason why I say it's flawed is because it's really difficult to achieve that today.
No.
No, it's possible.
It is
But
possible.
very difficult.
And the thing is, a lot of people don't wait. That was
True.
what I was waiting for. Everything you just said. I wanted to be the center because I would write a lot of love poems and I wanted to be the center of this person's world. And people are impatient and people are anxious and they're worried about society and they're worried about biological clocks and then, waiting
What the
and
auntie
what
said,
the
what the
aunties
uncle
say.
said,
Yes.
the cousin who got
my
married last
God.
week.
Yes. And, but I feel like if you wait, you would get all that. Love it, love it, love it. We'll be right back. Welcome back, viewers, who are here with the Don, Mr. Indelible, Farm T, and he's telling us about his impending marriage. He doesn't know it's about to happen.
Oh, wow.
But so now that you said all this,
Mm-hmm.
do you still think that marriage is flawed? Now that we've had this talk and you're seeing that there could, especially you can make this happen. There could be that center of your world, in your own words. There could be that person who, what family is saying, oh, she's giving you effort to eat. And you're like, yes, I enjoyed the effort and I want more. What do you think is happening to you as you're sitting on our show and we're planning your impending marriage?
I think, well, you really played your cards right. You got me to weigh out my decisions and rethink them.
Right.
So I'm going to look for another loophole, one you're not expecting.
No, we're just saying. I'm just
I
saying.
will answer. I will
Okay,
answer, but
right.
I'm going to answer with a condition.
Great.
Okay. They call it settling down for a reason, right?
Right.
In my opinion, you really have to be at that point in your life where you love everything about that person and
Yes.
you can love everything about that person.
Well said.
I made a
Yes.
joke with a cab driver the other day.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I ever get married, my wife is gonna be happy. And
You
he's
said
looking
that
at
to
me.
him?
Yes, like, this was an actual conversation with a boat driver, and he was like, "Man, what will you do now? Isn't that besides buying her cars and bags?" I'm like, "No, that's not it. If she wakes up today and she says she loves me, I will tell her I love her right back. If she wakes up tomorrow morning and flings a shoe at my head in bed, I would still wake up and greet her and love her and tell her I love you right back. If she wakes up and she wants money, I will give it to her and say I love you. If she wakes up and she says she wants nothing from me, I'm like, okay, I still love you.
Oh my God.
Like, even if she's chasing after me with a gun, and for whatever I've done to offend her in that hypothetical scenario, I will still be saying, still love you, while running for my dear life, I want to get to that point where nothing phases me.
Oh my God.
I feel like you're probably going to ask me about women in my life. You have that look in your eyes, but anywho.
Okay, so I love it. So I love where you're at. Have you always thought this way?
I have tried to live that way, actually, not just thinking it.
Okay,
I put
what
this
happened?
into practice.
So what happened?
Well, I found someone,
Okay.
or rather, I met someone.
Okay.
You know how the story usually goes where you have to accept that, okay, yeah, that person is out of your league, you know. And that
Right.
happens a lot. It's an actual
Right.
thing for guys. You would look at someone, and even if you were the most courageous man on earth, you should have an inkling of a conscience to say, okay, yeah, now she looks too good. Maybe I shouldn't mess with that, you know. But that's just an opinion. So I met someone. She was out of this world. I'll put it that way. She
Oh.
was really, really out of this world. There wasn't a
Okay.
thing I didn't love about her. She made me discover traits in my own personality that I didn't even know were there. So
Oh.
like I would send her good morning messages. If she came out of the car in the afternoon, I would be there with an umbrella. I used to open and close the car door for her.
Okay.
Doing anything for her did not feel like punishment. It was a thrill. It was like, finally I get to do something for this person, you know.
Okay, great.
Really made your day. But then that settling down of a thing I just spoke about earlier,
All right.
it's really important because you can want to do everything for someone, but then it's a give and take relationship. You also must be
Right.
willing to receive everything from someone. Whether it's things you understand, whether it's things you can explain, and the ones you cannot explain.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's going to happen a lot. That's human nature. This is why we constantly quarrel and make up with friends, with family, even with strangers.
Yes.
You'd see drivers,
Yes.
they might quarrel on the road, and then
Yes.
maybe one has a flat tire and the other one is a bit more humane. He would still stop and assist, you know.
Right.
Like, this is the back and forth of humanity. It's just amplified when love is involved. So
Yeah.
I wasn't at that place where I could receive everything. I was willing to give everything. And more than half the time, society makes you believe that's enough. You're a grown man. You have a car. You have a house. You have
Yeah.
a job. What are you waiting for? Settle down. Yeah. If that was all it really took, then we should all be happy, you know? We should all be living the dream. There shouldn't be any issues whatsoever. So there's got to be something more that we're missing.
All right.
Something that really helps to, if you would, complete the foundation.
No, don't cut your story short.
I know,
Let's
okay, okay.
continue on that trajectory. So what
Oh, I
happened?
see.
You were doing all the right things, but you were not
Mm-hmm.
receiving, not willing to receive. Tell us what that means.
Well, the last thing you want to hear in a relationship is that you're not trying your hardest when you
When
believe you
you
are.
are.
You know, it really puts you at the end of your ropes. It makes you feel like, okay, like what now? There's only so much that's humanly possible,
Right.
especially when it comes to dealing with finances. You know,
Okay.
that's usually the major issue. So you can be a sweetheart, you can be the most helpful, you can
Yeah.
be the most charming and
Yeah.
romantic, but then, like I said, a lot has to complete the foundation for the relationship to stand. And in my case, it so turned out that there wasn't much of a financial grounding.
Okay.
So it may have been enough for one person to get by. It may
Yes.
have been manageable for two people to get by, but
Right.
then we all have our hopes, our ambitions, and our dreams. We all have things that we want from a relationship.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in the end, what I wanted
Okay.
and what she wanted were on opposing ends.
All right.
Yeah.
I love what you said. I love how you said it. And I can see this because I'm a lady. The ladies here are all about finances when it comes to love relationships. They're called love relationships for a reason, and the emphasis is love. Money should not be the crux of a relationship. Money will come, but love is very key. I want the ladies and the girls, if it's not too late for those who are called ladies now, I want the girls to know that love should be priority in a love relationship. Money should be secondary. These things are real and these things are true. So, Promise, would you tell us how you felt after things fell apart because for financial reasons? How did you feel?
Well, first usually comes the rage. Yeah.
Right.
You're angry at the world, you're angry at yourself, you blame the government, you might even say an angry
Yes.
prayer or two. You
Right.
just lash out at everything, and then
Yes.
fortunately, if it's like someone in my position where I had family and friends who just reminded me that it was either gonna be or not be, you
Right.
know. It's either gonna work out or not.
Yeah.
And if you keep things that simple, it prevents a lot of trouble in the long run. So
Yes.
there's a lot of ugly situations out there where people do things because things didn't work out.
Yeah.
I really feel like that can be avoided
All
in any
right.
situation if you just accept it for what it is.
All right.
There might be grievances, there might be leftover pain that
Right.
just takes time to heal on its own.
Oh my
So I
God.
really fell into a dark place. I'm not even
Right.
going to
For
sugarcoat
how
it.
long?
months.
Oh my God.
Months.
Yeah.
I broke up with my then partner in, well, I would say March.
Okay.
That was when things really came to light.
Okay.
And then I would spend the rest of March, April, May, June indoors.
Okay.
I'm not
Were
even
you in a
joking.
depressed state?
It was so terrible. I'd watch Desperate Housewives. Like anything that could give you a laugh felt
Okay.
like gold. It felt like treasure, you know. It's like
Okay.
going into funny children's cartoons,
Right.
reminding myself of the simplicity of life, you know.
Okay.
And when that wasn't enough, I took up working. So
Okay.
I had to go back into practicing full time as a pharmacist.
Okay, great.
And it just felt like, okay, well, this is one way to give you love and not expect anything in
In
return.
return. Okay.
Yeah, if you take the medicine that I tell you to, it's for your benefit.
But are you open to it again? Again? Or would you be a little more guarded?
Honestly, I am very guarded at the
Yeah.
moment. You know,
Yeah.
this is again why I say like it's all about how much love you feel for that person.
Right.
So if I did not care enough, I would say, okay, you know,
Yes.
it's enough. It didn't work out. It'd be easier
Right.
to move on.
Right.
And I did say that at first, and I try and laugh about it, but
Right.
then you have to be honest with yourself,
Right.
you know. And the worst thing you can do as someone who feels like they've been hurt,
Right.
whether you are or haven't been, if you feel that way, chances are you're gonna come across as toxic to anyone else, you
Yes.
know.
Oh God.
Try as you might to hide it. You're gonna
Yeah.
come in, you're gonna be charming, it's gonna be all laughs, but
Right.
then when it really comes back to it, it's like you then re-experience all those other memories.
Yeah.
And what usually you would find in most couples today,
Right.
and I feel like most of you would agree with me, is that the man's behavior changes or the woman's behavior
Right.
changes along the line in the relationship. There's no explanation. It could be leftover baggage.
Yes.
Just that recurrent thing where you start to
Totally.
lay the mistakes of your former partner on the
Right.
current one. It's like, okay, I haven't received a call from her all day. Who is she with?
Right.
You know? Well, normally it could be that her battery is dead, or
Yeah.
maybe she just didn't feel the need to call and it doesn't mean
Right.
anything, but
Right.
then insecurity steps in,
Right.
you know.
Right. Right.
And then there's this blurred line that comes in between when the partner actually has something to hide, where you would then see it as intuition, and where your own past pain creates a terrible picture
Right.
and then introduces insecurity.
So how do we have a few minutes left. Oh my God. So how do we remedy this? How do we, because honestly, when you're in love, everything is amplified. No calls, quite
Yes,
frankly,
I
you're
know.
thinking he's with somebody else, she's with somebody
Everything
else.
gets blown out of
Everything is
proportion.
crazy. So how do we bring ourselves to that, woosah moment and we say, you know what? I know that this person loves me. And the fact that they didn't call at 2 like they usually do doesn't necessarily mean that, they're with somebody else, or doesn't necessarily mean that the love is waning. How do we how do we get a grip of things? Because we have to. If not, we go crazy and we put too much pressure on the other person and.
Let me give you a tip I got from an elderly Barbados couple, so they're not
Okay,
even
nice.
Nigerian.
Okay.
He said, if you're a woman, forgive more.
Okay.
If you're a man, be more patient. It's like he's putting it broadly, but then think about it. If you're more patient as a man with a woman,
Right.
there is nothing she does that would prompt you to be quick to judgment. Nothing.
Even her crazy?
Everything about her,
Even.
the more patience you have, which you
Right.
would find when a couple starts to advance in age.
Okay.
When they've had the children have gone, they fought about everything they can fight about. Like they can read each other across a room without even making eye contact.
Right.
That's
Right.
usually when you see that overwhelming patience and that inflow of forgiveness from the woman's side mostly.
Yeah.
So when he said that initially, I thought, okay, maybe it's just an old man just giving me a fun
Yeah.
story, you know. But
What
then
do what the
pondering it,
yes, what do I forgive as a man? As a woman, what do I
as a
forgive?
woman,
That's your tip.
they are
Everything?
beautiful and empathic creatures. A woman will communicate something very simple in the most complex way.
Yeah, but what do I forgive? You said as a woman, forgive everything. Do I forgive indiscretions? Do I forgive infidelity? What am I forgiving?
It depends on the bond you want to have with your partner.
So you're saying that I forgive these two
No,
things
no.
I said?
I'm saying it's individual.
We have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
What do I
If
forgive?
it's not gonna be fair to give a straight answer. So let me put it this way: if your partner is cheating on you
Okay.
and you're okay with it,
What?
exactly. Are you okay with it?
No, I'm not.
Then you don't have to forgive that.
Great.
But if he didn't get the bread again, he forgot to get the eggs again.
Okay, great.
He
Okay, so you answered
didn't
our
switch off the
question.
lights in
So
the front yard, you know.
viewers, do not forgive. Both of us, Promise and I. Let's hold hands.
Oh.
We're saying that don't forgive. This is what's the what? Okay, this is us agreeing that we don't forgive infidelity. That's all it is. You can let go now. So
Women.
so we're saying that don't forgive infidelity. No, no, no. I say this because in these parts, it's a given for a man to be,
It
do
happens a lot.
things, yes, and they say he's a man. No, don't forgive infidelity. Let's hold our men to a higher standard and they
Exactly.
will rise to the occasion. This is plain, this is simple, this is beautiful. Oh my God, we have so much content, but 1 minute left and I'll give you that 1 minute. What are your closing remarks for us?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, while you're out there, be careful. Be in love, show love, and not just the Valentine's Day kind of love.
Right.
I mean the one where you really care about each other. Because the more you do that, the more you will find that there's nothing else more beneficial in this world than being able to truly, truly love and take care of someone.
Right.
Be it a partner, be it a parent, be it a friend, be it a child, whoever it is around you. Show some love today. You'll be surprised. And have a lovely day.
Love it. Love it. That's our show. Goodbye.